Folks, this is Gray here, and we're going to do something that we've never done before with a power station by Bluetti called the AC240. Folks, before we even get started in this video, I'm going to cut over to what I just did to this power station, and then we'll come back to me and I'll give you a little bit more of an explanation. I almost feel like very apprehensive about doing this, but Bluetti says the AC240 has an IP65 rating that can withstand dust and water and things of that nature. So what we're going to do is we're going to simulate basically a rain shower, something that has the instance of, let's say you're out camping or RVing or doing something where the Bluetti is out in the elements. So let's test this theory out really quick. All right, folks, here's the moment of truth. Let's get this thing wet. And it's raining really, really hard in Florida. And this thing is getting wet, folks. As you can see, it's just saturating on top. We're spraying everything all over the Bluetti AC240. It's actually crazy. All right, so let's take a close-up look at this thing, folks. As you can see, I've got it wet pretty much everywhere it can get wet. Look at that. It's just soaked in water all around. All the vents, the whole back area. I mean, like I said, it's just went through a serious rainstorm, right? Now the question is will it turn on? Now, Bluetti says that you should let it dry before you turn it back on, or just at least wipe it down and make sure that there's no water before we turn the power on. Folks, I like to live a little dangerously, and I'm just really curious if I push this button, what happens, if it smokes and starts firing or not. Holy cow, it turns on. I don't want to push my luck. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. But let's go ahead and dry this thing off and run us through its paces. Let's kind of go over the AC240 and some of its inputs and outputs, some of its specifications, all that stuff like that. And this could be the ultimate portable power station if it can go through all this being wet, saturated in an environment where you just never know what might happen. So yes, I just took a power station and sprayed it down with water, kind of simulating basically a rain shower or something to that extent. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go over the AC240 and we're going to see if it's still functioning properly. We'll go over the specifications. We'll do a little bit of testing and see how this thing holds up after being doused in water for several minutes and then just air dried and wiped down just a little bit. So let's get into this. What I want to do here real quick is kind of give you the specifications of the unit, and then we'll go over and look at some of the ports and stuff like that. One thing that I do like about this kind of setup, it is expandable, which is, to me, one of the key components to when you're looking for a power station that's going to benefit you and your family in regards to expandability. So I wrote some stuff down here in regards to its scalability. And you can take the AC240 and add 4 B210 batteries. I got one. I thought I had 2, but I got one. And so you can extend the watt hours on the system itself. That being said, you can also, if you have the finances to do so, you can run 2 AC240s plus 8 B210 batteries in parallel. So this can be a literally like almost like a whole home setup for you folks out there for looking to live that off-grid life or whatever you're trying to do where you need that amount of watt hours and power dedicated to a solar battery powered system. All right, so let's run through the specs real quick on just the AC240 unit by itself. No add-ons, no anything else added to it. It is a 2400 watt capacity, 1536 watt hour portable power station. It does have the powerlifting mode, which is what I consider a surge mode. So if you have a hair dryer, a heater, something, maybe an AC unit that's going to, beyond its limits of that 2400 watts, it can surge past that up to 3600 watts and handle that surge and then come back down and run whatever you're trying to run at a nominal wattage. And what I mean by nominal wattage is if, let's say, your AC unit runs at 1000 watts, but it'll push up to 1900 watts, or if you got something crazy going on, a full-size mega system, and it pushes to 2900 watts and that surge, and then it comes back down to, let's say, 1800 watts when the room is doing, once it catches up and stuff like that, the unit can handle that kind of power. Some of you folks like the smaller units. This is kind of a larger unit, so this is what you're going to get when you step up your game in regards to stuff like this. It is a pure sine wave inverter, lithium iron phosphate battery, which is they call a LiFo, has 3,500 cycles, which is meaning it's powering it up to, from going from full charge to discharge, back up and down. Basically, that's each cycle. You get 3,500 cycles. That doesn't mean the battery's done. It just reduces its capacity to about 20%. So you still have 80% of life still left in that battery. A lot of people get that confused, and I've tried to explain that before in plenty of my other videos and whatnot. And I'm just trying to keep track of my notes here so I can kind of run through this kind of quickly so we can get into the testing and make sure the thing still turns on and functions properly, It has the... Also, for you RVers out there that are looking for a power station with expandability, it does have that, let me make sure I get this right, NEMA TT30. Basically, it's a special type of connector used in recreational vehicles, and the TT means, I think if I recall correctly, it means like travel trailer or something to that extent. I'm pretty sure it means travel trailer. So it has that on there, and we'll go over that when we look at the front of the unit. And my apologies for going fast. I'm just trying to compound all this information to a quick, easy to digest bundle here. It does do pass-through charging. It does have uninterruptible power supply that can react within 15 milliseconds. Basically, you really won't even notice if you lose power from the grid. Basically, it's going to kick right over and keep everything running smoothly. So it is rated for IP65. So let me break down what IP65 means so that some of the folks that, with all the different IP ratings out there, this will make sense to you folks without having to worry about looking it up. But I suggest you always, I implore you guys out there, employ, something like that, to, do further research on a unit, watch several different reviews on the product, look at the written reviews and whatnot on this type of unit. So basically, I have written down here, it says an AP65 rating means that the AC240 has the highest level of dust protection and is able to withstand low pressure water jets from all directions, which you kind of saw in that little clip there of me spraying that thing down. So like I said, even when it's raining, it can handle that pretty effectively, but we'll actually, in the testing phase, it's really going to know if there's any kind of hiccups or weirdness. You can also download the app, Blue Yeti. I have it. It's a very simple app. I can throw it on the screen real quick to kind of show you guys how it looks and how you can scroll through it and control your devices. If you want the app, you can still control everything to the screen. The app it's beneficial in certain ways. If you're trying to maintain something during a disaster, you can kind of keep an eye on things, with a Bluetooth connection or Wi-Fi connection, depending on what you have available to you. Blue Yeti also offers a 6-year warranty on the AC240 as well, which I thought was awesome. So some of those things you can't beat, folks, when you're paying that kind of money for a decent station. And someone's going to already stop me and ask, Grey, what does this thing cost? I really don't know yet because it releases at 7 p.m. So hopefully this video will drop between 7 and 8 p.m. this evening, which is what Blue Yeti asked me to do, is to kind of release this video at that time. It'll be on sale. I will have a discount code for that as well, which will be down in the description that you will be able to use on the sale. So folks, if you're looking for something that's going to be expandable, that has that IP65 rating, I mean, it's just a beast of a system when it comes to a situation like that. You can also charge this thing from 0 to 80% in about 45 minutes. It can push up to 2200 watt max input into the system. And if you pair it with the B210 battery, you can get 2400 watts in there. Now, the solar capability, I will not be testing that. But if you are trying to power this via solar, I did write that information down. It says 0 to 100% in about 2 hours if you're running 1200 watts with prime sunshine, ideal orientation, and low temperature. Basically, if it's 1,000 degrees outside, or if it's partly cloudy, if you have it angled wrong or whatnot, you know, you got to maximize where and how you use your solar panels. But it can handle that 1200 watts input. And just imagine that within a 2-hour window, if you have that kind of solar power, you can get this thing charged up to 100% from 0 to 100 in 2 hours. That's another key factor there. Anyways, if you're trying to charge it through your car or some sort of AC adapter or a cigarette adapter, that DC kind of output, you can use it uses either 12 or 24 volt. Because if your car is 12 volt and RVs are 24 volt, you know, there's some differences. I don't own an RV, so I can't give you the specifications on that. But to go from 0 to 100% using a 12 volt cigarette adapter, you're looking at 14.6 hours. In a 24 volt situation, you're looking at 0 to 100% in 7.3 hours, just to give you the numbers. And I'm sorry I went so fast on that. I guess you could always slow the video down, but I wanted to compact all that information because I really want to get to the testing as soon as possible. And we are already at almost 9 minutes. So folks, enough of me rambling. Let's go to the unit, take a look at the unit itself, make sure it turns on, plug some things into it, check it out, do some testing, and then we'll wrap it up with myself here rambling some more. All right, folks, so here comes the moment of truth per se in regards to the AC240. As you saw, we saturated this thing. It's probably been dry for about a half hour, 45 minutes or so since I've been setting up to get this video put together for you folks. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and plug it in, and this is the additional battery, the B210 that I have plugged into it. I went ahead and set that up as well, as you can see there. And we're going to go ahead and plug this thing in to the grid and see what we got. Go ahead and plug that thing in. There we go. And it should kick on. And so far, so good. The battery's up and running. So that's charging. The unit itself is charging. As you can see there, through the app, you can set if you want it to charge in a silent mode, regular mode, or in turbo mode. Usually I set things on turbo mode myself just to get them up and running. But I've been testing this thing for a while, probably for the last couple of weeks before I did the water test, just to see how the unit ran. And I was thoroughly impressed with everything that it was capable of. So we're not going to talk too much about the B210 battery. I have discussed this. A lot of the batteries are very similar. You can use them independently. You can charge them independently. This is a huge battery up here. As you can see, 2,150 watt hours just with that one battery. So imagine adding, having 4 of these. So you times that number by 4, and that's going to equate to how many watt hours you're going to get. I'm going to try to do this in my head real quick. So that is 4 plus 3, so 4,300 watt hours plus the watt hours of the unit itself. Anyways, so let's kind of discuss the panel itself and how many options that you have. So some of you folks remember when I was going over the specifications, I was talking to you about the fast charge itself at the 2,200 watts with the unit by itself, and then 2,400 watts with this. Now, you're probably wondering why this is only at 1791. Well, it has an intelligent BMS system that kind of regulates everything from the output that I had, the 15 amp outlet that's coming into the system, so that it doesn't trip any breakers. So it's a very smart system so that you don't have any issues if you have this running in your home. It always depends on the way your house is wired and whatnot. Anyways, let's kind of run through this pretty quickly. You're going to have a 12 volt DC 10 amp right here, cigarette adapter. You're going to have your 12 volt 30 amp adapter right here, which is going to be more for the heavy duty stuff there. And just by activating this, you can push that button, and of course the DC is going to come on, and it's also say that I'm plugging into the grid because I'm charging it as we speak to give this some power before we do some of the testing. You want to turn on the USB, same premise, as well as the AC. So as you see, all lights are green across the board. Remember, we did saturate this machine. Then here we got 2 USB-Cs, 100 watters, and then we have some USB-As, 15 watters. And these things are pretty well covered. Standard USB-A, and of course, a standard Type-C connector. You got 2 of those to go right there. Now, here's where you have your AC outputs, right? So you have 120 volts at 2400 watts is the capability of this inverter. So and it is a pure sine wave inverter. I think I went over that one. So you have two of those plugs, one there and one there. And as you can see, let me kind of give you an angle of how thick these rubber grommets are. They're pretty robust in here. They're pretty in there pretty good. You would have to really tear some stuff up. Very solid construction. Kind of give you that there, just to look at it. And then here's for you RVers, here's where you're going to have your connection right here. And this can run other things too. I think it has the capability of doing the EV. Hey, look, there's even some water still on there where that didn't get wiped off on there. Actually, I can see a little bit of residual water there and inside that plug. Anyways, so that's that 30 amp big boy right there. So it's very, very simple interface on the front of the unit itself. Now let's move over to the side real quick. As you can see, I have my AC adapter plugged in here. If you're going to run two AC240s, that's going to be for your parallel connection there. Don't really feel it. Most people probably don't really need to see that in there, but that's your connection. Here you have, let me see if I can move this out of your way, another DC input right here. Try to see if I can open that up, because it is pretty beefy down there. Move my camera over a little bit so that you guys can see the specifications on that. Over here, you have your ground. We can do a ground screw as well as a bleed valve if you needed to in regards to the system. So that you guys can see where I have it connected. Basically, they have, if you notice, the color of that is orange as well as the plug connector there, so it makes it so it's almost monkey proof per se. And then up here, if you're going to add additional batteries, you can kind of see how everything connects. Blue goes with blue and orange goes with orange. Very simple to connect and put these things together. I like the fact that they were smart. This is not a touch screen. It's all push buttons. You know, like, I didn't mind the what's it called? The what was it called? The AC300. The touchscreen is nice and all, but I prefer buttons like most folks. It's just nice to have those very soft tactile buttons that you can kind of feel and push in. I just feel it's easier to diagnose for problems. But all in all, that is the front of the unit. Those are the specifications hooked up to the B210 battery. Just to give you an idea, if you guys want the screen here, it's going to give you all the information that you need here, how it's ran. Your AC input, your output. If I power these off, turn these off, as you can see, the screen, they're disappearing. Just like if I took off the DC power, that's going to all disappear as well. So the screens are pretty commonplace with the Blue Yetis. They're very nice. They are pretty decent in sunlight. They do have that glare, as you can see. You can probably see me back there holding my camera here. But all in all, it's a pretty decent screen on there. I do like that. Depending on the angle, kind of give you different angles of the screen, so how you're looking at it. But all in all, it's a very easy to read screen. So that's kind of the AC240, as well as connecting it to the B210 battery. Again, you can run 2 of these and 8 of those for basically a huge powerhouse of a system. Anyways, let's get into testing. All right, so for testing, we're going to amp this up a little bit. Usually I just use the heater, but this unit is capable of at 2400 watts with that 3600 watt powerlifting mode. I call it surge, but it kind of gives you an idea, because that can pull, like I said, about 1600. I think that can pull about 1800. So that should be able to push the unit to its capabilities. Now that you see, I want to show you the difference, kind of how many watt hours you'll get, being that I have this battery plugged in as well. And remember, the unit's only at 75%. So let's just get to it. Let's go ahead and turn on the AC unit. As you can see, currently we're at 0 AC output, so we're going to go ahead and turn our AC on. There's that. Power button's live on that one. And let's see here on, there it is. Green light on the AC plug as well. Being that it's very hot in Florida today, I'm going to go ahead and turn on the AC first. Set it at 62. Now you guys will see the surge kick on there. This is just the fan running at 187 watts. Is what the fan takes out. And my apologies for the wind noise, but hey, it's testing, right? I just heard the compressor kick on. There we go. Surged up to about 1000 watts. And that's what I mean, folks, is it'll surge, and then the AC will come back down to where its working levels are at. And that would even drop down even lower once the room reaches temp. So that kind of gives you an idea of how this whole system works out, running at that power. I'm going to show you the AC. We have it set at 62. And man, does that feel good. Actually, I'm going to angle this up a little bit more so that I can feel it. Oh man, love it. Amazing. You can see the fluctuation in the wattage there. And that's when that powerlifting mode comes in handy, especially in the smaller units that, let's say, only run 1,000 watts, but it can capable of 2,000 watts in lifting mode. Kind of giving you the ideas of the information on how that works. Of course, we had the AC input coming in and that coming out. All right, so now that we have basically the AC running, it's been running cool for a while and I'm enjoying the AC itself. Let's go ahead and turn on the heater, which I know is counterproductive, but at least it'll give you an idea of the draw. Now, I'm just gonna skip right to the point and turn this on basically high. I'm gonna turn the fan on first so that you can see there is a different draw and change of the numbers themselves. Probably can't hear the fan coming from that, but most of the folks that have watched my videos know that that's the fan mode. And we're almost at about 1200 watts. So we're going to go ahead and turn this heater on high. Let's go ahead and just skip past all the games and just boom. Look at that surge. 24, 26, 28. We got some sort of error right here, but everything is still running, which is odd. Maybe because it's letting me know that it's beyond its surge capacity because I'm pulling so much power from the unit. But the heater's still on, which is burning my hand, and the AC's still on. That's quite interesting. And I kind of want to let it sit there for a minute and see if the unit shuts off, or how long will it run it. Remember, it's only rated at 2400 watts, so it's already way beyond its capacity. It's trying to compete with the input from the grid. So the intelligent BMS system in here is letting it still run. That's pretty impressive, folks. Because I guarantee you, I'm just waiting for something else to happen, but it's not doing anything. You know, when it's ironic, this unit's at 80%, the battery appears at 80%, and I'm still pushing it beyond its limits. It's giving me an error, and I can still pull 2.7 hours out of both of these units with the heater at full capacity and an AC as low as it goes at 62. I guess it's just going to continue to do so. I guess it's just going to run beyond its capabilities. Very impressive, folks. If that's not impressive, I don't know what is, man. It's telling me that there's an error code. I'm pretty sure on the app it's probably giving me like, hey man, you're pushing us very, very hard. So let's bring this, I'm going to take the heater and bring it down to low. That's going to bring it down below its capacity, and the error code is gone. Look at that, folks. Bring it down. I mean, it was running at 2700 watts, which is beyond its capability. And as soon as I reduced the power that's being drawn from the unit, the error code went away, the AC button stopped blinking, and it's regulating itself just fine, running that heater at low and the AC on high. And look at that. This is how I mean these batteries make such a big difference. So I'm getting 7.5 hours at running the heater on low and the AC on high. So imagine having 4 of these. Times that number by 4. Times that number by 4, folks. Right? That's how many watt hours you can get out of a system like this once you go full on to a full capacity system. It's not cheap, but it definitely keep the lights on and keep everything running. Like this deep freezer, this thing would run it for months with multiple batteries. Months. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and turn this heater off because I can feel the heat. It's outweighing the power of the AC blowing down here because I don't have it vented. I'm just kind of using it for display purposes or testing purposes. But folks, Solid unit. Kudos to Blue Yeti for having such a phenomenal system. The expandability, an intelligent BMS system, fast charging. I mean, this thing is awesome. For what this thing is and what you get a decent bang for your buck out of a system like this. And no, folks, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be cheap. But for the folks out there that are looking for an entire ecosystem of a expandable power system, this is probably something that you may want to look into. Because again, per AC240, you can get 4 of these, or you can run 2 of these units in parallel, run 2 of these units, and 8 of those batteries. That is a big check mark for this system here, folks. All right, I probably ranted on long enough. I'm just super impressed. Like, every time I turn around, these guys just keep on pushing the envelope of these systems with the technology that they add to this. Thanks, Blue Yeti, for innovating your products like this. This is awesome. All right, so that is my review of the AC240. I'm thoroughly impressed, folks. This is a solid unit. For the folks that have the finances to get involved in this, especially when something's on sale, this is an opportunity to do so. As you can see, my testing just shows a little bit of what it can do. I mean, you can use this thing, to power, your power tools. Let's say, you got some saws you want to run, some construction type of work, because it has that dust-proof rating, with sawdust and all that stuff like that. I've even watched a couple videos myself of where folks are just blowing sawdust all over the thing, rinsing it off with water, and then drying it off, and then putting it back to work. So definitely, truly a unique system compared to a lot of other power stations out there. I personally was impressed with the performance of the unit, that everything worked efficiently, even after I doused it with, a bunch of water. I have to give Blue Yeti credit. They keep on innovating and innovating and innovating for these portable power stations. And to me, it's something that I find that's very important when it comes to emergency preparedness. Outside of that, no, food, water, medical supplies, means to defend yourself, all that other stuff is always going to be a priority. This is kind of one of those big purchases that you may save up for, or some folks that may have the finances to do so, to buy something like this if they're looking for an emergency power backup system. In conjunction with, let's say, a gas-powered type of generator. You know what I mean? So hopefully that kind of gives you an idea what I mean by that. If you got any value out of this video at all, please hit that thumbs up button. If you think anyone else out there could use information or want to watch this video that you think they might find this helpful, please share this out on any social media platform that you can. If you have any questions, please put those down in the comments, as well as what do you think of the AC240 and its capabilities? What are your thoughts on the Blue Yeti, on their new innovation, on this product that's new in 2024? Do you think having that IP65 rating is something that's important to you? How would you use a system like this? These are kind of the questions I'm asking you, my viewers, to kind of put down in the comments in regards to how would you use a system like this? Do you think a system like this could be something beneficial to you? Someone who is, trying to keep everything in order in regards to a natural disaster, in regards to also emergency preparedness in a grid down situation. Other than that, folks, thank you so much for taking the time to watch these videos. Some of these review videos like this can go very long. And I thank you guys for watching from beginning to end, and watching the commercials and everything else associated with the video, hitting that thumbs up and leaving a comment. It truly does help the channel. Thank you guys so much for your support. Outside of that, folks, remember, you are not alone. This is GreyMan. I'm out. I'll see you guys in the rebound. God bless every single one of you amazing people out there. And again, thank you for taking the time to watch this video.